Good morning, students. Today, with the help of this video, we are going to elaborate Rabindranath Tagore's short story, Living or Dead. So, before we have a glimpse of short story, just have a brief introduction to the author. Shri Rabindranath Tagore is undoubtedly one of the greatest writers of modern India. As a writer, he looks at the life from humanist point of view. He is a true apostle of universal brotherhood and understanding. It was to embody these lofty ideas that he established at Shantiniketan, a university that was to transmit a message of love, selfless knowledge to all mankind. He passes away in year 1941 when the struggle for freedom was passing through a critical stage. He was deeply mourned by his countrymen and countless readers and admirers all over the world. Rabindranath Tagore was a versatile genius who not only wrote, painted, acted, and composed music but also took an active part in national struggle for freedom. He was endowed with a rare imagination and felicity of expression. He wrote about 50 dramas, 40 volumes of novels, and shorter fictions. Sorry. Besides innumerable collections of poems and philosophical essays, in year 1913 he became the first Asian to win the Nobel Prize for Literature, particularly Gitanjali, which he himself translated into English and which is considered his masterpiece. This was followed by invitations which took him to many parts of the world, including Europe, China, Japan, the United States, and the Soviet Union, which is now called as Russia. So, it was a brief introduction to the author. Let's have an introduction to the story. The story or fiction, Living or Dead, is one of the famous stories by Tagore. It is taken from the collection entitled Hungry Stones. Its theme is very striking. What is the difference between life and death? The author writes by dying Kadambini had given proof that she was not dead. The story has also a satiric touch. It is a mild satire on conventional social values. Oh. It was just an introduction to the story. So let's have a brief, or we can say that a glimpse of the story, Living or Dead. As the title suggests, there is a question arise in the mind of every reader, living or dead. As we know, the both words are opposite of each other and have a different meaning of each other. We know that The living creature, one day, it may become as in a dead. It's the change or time passing which made it so. Or we can say that it's in a natural process. Ones who get birth or born also achieve or attain his life fulfillment and ended with his death. Here in the story, we see that Kadamni, who is the protagonist or we can the main character of the story, reflect his reflect her as a living person and how how she proves that she was not more. The Rabindranath Tagore story, Living or Dead, deals with a widow lady who had no kinsman of her father's family. One after another, all had died. Now, had she in her husband's family anyone she could call her own? Neither husband nor son. The child of her brother in law, Shraddha Shankar, was her darling. He, that word, love, found a relief in the innocent and loving child. It was a chance that for a long time after the childbirth, his mother had been very ill, and the widow Kadambani fostered him. She poured out all her love to the child, Shraddha Shankar. However, Kadamni, ill luck did not let her have solace in her love for the child. One night, Kadambani had a heart attack. Perhaps her heartbeat stopped. She fell down, apparently breathing her last breath. Even in that condition, she was worried about the child and wanted the child mother to bring the child to her. Soon she was taken for a dead person. Shraddha Shankar feared harassment by the police. He immediately ordered 4 servants to take Kadamni's body to the cremation ground and cremated her. It's so chanced that all the 4 persons left her for some time alone in the hut near the cremation ground. They went to bring wood for burning her supposedly dead body. When they returned, they found the body gone. They all were frightened by seeing this. They came back home. They let to Sadashankar that they had cremated Kadambani. Now, after they had left the hut, Kadambani regained consciousness. She was alive. For some unknown reason, the machine of her body had stopped working. Now, Kadamni was dead and cremated for Shraddha and other in the family. She could not think of going back to her house. She went to her childhood friend Jogmaya. She lived there about a month, but she was always a lost soul. Gradually, she began to feel afraid of being alone. One midnight, Kadamni came out of her bedroom weeping and wailed at Jogmaya's door. She cried and said, "Sister, sister, let me lie at your feet. Do not put me by myself." Jogmaya's husband went to the Shraddha Shankar, who told him that the Kadamni was dead and cremated. He came to Jogmaya and told her about this. Kadamni was in a fix. Where was she to go now? She left her house and went to Shraddha Shankar's house. It was her love for the child that brought her. Her heart trembled. She reached the house, drawing a thick veil over her face. She entered the house. No one could know who she was. Why Kadamni came to this house, she herself did not know. It was her love for the child that brought her. She felt only that she wanted to see the child again. She had no thought where she would go next or what she would do. In Jogmaya's house, Kadamni thought that she belonged to the world of the dead. She had lost faith in her own self. After coming to Sadashankar's house, she felt that she was alive. The child recognized her and called her Auntie, as he used to call her in the past. The child was unwell since Kadamni had gone. He was told that she was dead. Now he saw her alive. When he was half asleep, he said, "Auntie, give me water." Kadamni was excited to see that her loved one had not forgotten her. When he awoke, he embraced her. "Did you die, Auntie?" he asked. "Yes, darling," she said, "and you have came back. Do not die again." But soon disaster overtook her. A maid servant saw her and fell down. Shraddha Sankar's wife came. She saw Kadamni. She stood like a pillar of wood. Seeing all this, the child got, got terrified and said, "Go away, Auntie, go away." Soon the child's mother fell into a faint. Sardar Shankar came there and saw Kadamni. He took her to be a ghost of Kadamni and piteously asked her to go for the sake of his only son. He promised that he would perform all her funerals, honors. Kadamni now knew that she was really alive. She had to prove this. Kadamni shouting, "I am not dead! I am not dead!" went down the steps to the well and plunged into by dying. Kadamni had given a proof that she was not dead. It was her intense love for the child that had brought her to her house. She could not prove this. She could not prove that she was alive and loved the child as before. But society would not accept her. So she sacrificed her life and proved that she was alive and came for the child love and not as a ghost. Here we see that love cannot prove its claim by any document which society accepts and does not wish to prove it. It merely worships with the double passion its life, uncertain treasures. Kadamni's love for the child was pure and simple. She was not her mother, yet she had true for the child. The child also recognized the love. Kadambini had to die to prove that her love was true and real. It was the child love made him realize that she was alive and not dead. When she went to the child, he was half asleep and saying, I want water, auntie. In a fever of excitement, she poured out some water and, taking him to her breast, she gave it to him. As long as he was asleep, the child felt no strangeness in taking water for accustomed hand. But when Kadamni satisfied her long-straved longing and kissed him and began rocking him asleep again, he awoke and embraced her. Did you die, auntie? He asked. Yes, darling, she replied. He was now fully awake. He said, and you have came back. Do not die again. However, the child love was not enough. Before she could answer, the disaster overtook her. One of the maid servants coming in with a cup of Isogo dropped in and fell down. At the crashes, the mistress left her card, entered the room. She stood like a pillar of wood, unable to flee or speak. Seeing all this, the child too became terrified and burst out weeping. Go away, auntie, he said, go away. Now at last, Kadamni understood that she had not died. The old the old room, the old thing, the same child, the same love, all returned to their living state, without change or difference between her and them. In her friend's house, she had felt that her childhood companion was dead. In her child room, she knew that the boy auntie was not dead at all. In agonistic tones, she said, Sister, why do you dread me? See, I am as you knew me. But she was a ghost for other. Her sister-in-law could endure no longer and fell into a faint. Now she found it that she had to prove that she was alive and not dead. She died by plunging herself into the well. By dying, she proved that she was alive. So, it is a kind of a story which satirically reflect which is in a satirical reflection on our conventional social values.